In the book of Job, you know the story there. Job cries out in understandable pain, and he begins to demand of God an explanation for what is unfolding. Essentially asking God to explain, why is this happening to me? How is it that you're working through this? And he demands that the Lord of all creation explain himself. God begins to respond to Job in chapter 38. Then the Lord answered Job out of the storm. And he said, "Who is this that darkens my counsel with words without knowledge? Brace yourself like a man. I will question you, and you shall answer me. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Tell me if you understand. Who marked off its dimensions? Surely you know. Who stretched a measuring line across it? On what were its footings set? Or who laid its cornerstone? While all the morning stars sang together, and all the angels shouted for joy." God didn't show up to explain himself. God shows up and begins to pepper Job with questions. He's been listening to it for 37 chapters, and now he turns around and asks you himself. For 129 verses, God just throws out question after question after question of things that Job could not possibly understand and consider. But all of these questions that God is raising to Job in those chapters point to a single truth. God revealed through Isaiah this truth long ago when he said, "My ways are higher than your ways. My thoughts are higher than your thoughts." Remember how the book of Job ends? And not the epilogue where he gets everything back. But before that, God appears to Job in the storm. Job has been challenging God for 37 chapters. And God appears to him in the storm, and God turns the tables on him and he begins to say, "Well, where were you when this happened? And can you explain this? And can you understand that?" But at the end of the day, God never answered Job's question. Why is this happening to me? Job died never having known why. I love how Job responds. It takes him a while, but he eventually gets there. "I had heard of you by the hearing of the ear, but now my eye sees you." It is so easy to be content knowing about God, knowing what people have said about God and definitions about God and theology about God and doctrine and all of these explanations, which have their place and have value. But if we are satisfied knowing about God instead of walking with God, then we will be disappointed, because we need that closeness of relationship with him. Don't be content just hearing about God with the ear. See him with your heart. Don't just try to ask and understand questions with your mind. Walk by faith. And then you begin to see. This is the truth for all who have placed their faith in Christ and walk in him in obedience, that you never walk alone. That is Mysterium Tremendum.